Hello and welcome in this first video of the Miner Mastering Blockchain. My name is Sam, and in this video I'm gonna explain how a blockchain works. First I will give you a definition of a blockchain and what elements it uses. So basically the definition is a blockchain is a type of distributed ledger for maintaining permanent and tamper-proof records of transactional data. A blockchain functions as a decentralized database that is managed by computers belonging to a peer-to-peer network. This is quite a mouthful, but I'll try explaining it by explaining the main three components which a database like a blockchain it consists of. So first, a blockchain has an open ledger database. The second component is that the database is cryptographically secured, and the third component of a blockchain is the decentralized distributed administration in a peer-to-peer network. So what does this all mean? I'll start with the open ledger database. That's the first component of a blockchain. So you could see an open ledger database as a book in which all the transactions are written down. In case of a blockchain, this is not a book, but it's a block in which the transactions are written down. I've made a drawing of how this looks like, and here you can see this is a block. Here it says block 1, these are the transactions. This is block 2, which says block 2, and here's all the transactions. All these transactions are written down in this block, and it's an open ledger, so this means anyone can see it and alter it. So how does this work? Now, the blocks are linked together through cryptography. What does it mean is that all the transactions in the blocks are bundled together in a hash. Which is a single string of letters and numbers. This is done through an algorithm, but basically what it does is it takes all the transactions that are written down on the page in the block and put this one into a single sentence. Then this hash is linked to the next block, which chains them basically together. Like it works like it's almost like a book in which the pages are bound together. The blocks are also chained together, like I showed you here, through cryptography. So what does this mean? If you contain all the transactions in the block and you make a hash out of it, this means that if you alter some transaction in the block, the hash will change too. This is why a blockchain is immutable, and that does mean that if you change any transaction in the block, it changes the hash completely, which is proof that someone changed something. This is why it's cryptographically secret. The third and most important part is that it contains about a decentralized distributed administration. So what does this mean, a decentralized distributed administration? It's basically that it contains the miners and node. It contains miners and nodes. Basically, someone has to write down these transactions in the blocks, and because it's a peer-to-peer network, everyone is able to write down these transactions in the blockchain, in the open ledger database itself. But because it's decentralized, it means that no single entity is doing this all by itself and has all the control. No, everyone who's running the protocol is able to write down these transactions in the block. These people who write down these transactions are called miners. They are called miners because because it takes a lot of energy in computing power to write down all these transactions in the block. Why would the miners do this? Well, because it takes a lot of computing power to maintain all these transactions. The miners are getting a fee and a block reward, which is to give them a pay for their work. The other people who are also checking on the system are called nodes. These are people who download and check the whole OpenLedger database. They have downloaded all the data. They control if the miners, the people who make the transactions, are doing it by the rules, which are contained into the protocol. So whenever someone makes a transaction, it is broadcasted to the network, and the computers who are part of the network determine if the transaction is valid. If it is, it's added to the block, and then through cryptography they use a hash function. This hash is linked to the other blocks, and this way you build block on block on block, which is why it's called a blockchain.